live from the Wild West of the Internet. It's the Geek Show.
On today's episode, all the latest news, including the 3 DC characters which will go forward in the DCU. I've got the dirt.
Yes.
And it's not who you think.
It's not who you think. Go to. Hi there. How is everyone?
Hi.
Oh, y'all
So
look so
good.
good. Y'all look great. Jay, you're looking good. They're all relaxed in your giant chair.
I ain't gonna lie, I'm hungover.
Oh.
My brother's birthday was yesterday, and we drank a lot and celebrated his 40th birthday.
Happy birthday, brother.
Him.
Yes, happy birthday, Brandon. Yeah.
Yeah.
What's
Oh, that's cool.
what'd you drink?
Huh?
What'd you drink?
A lot of whiskey. A lot of whiskey. He's a big whiskey guy, more of a tequila guy, so I haven't had brown liquor in a long time. We've been doing a lot. It's a lot of black people activity right now. They rented out this whole mansion, and there's like 30 people here. I'm in the east wing.
What are you calling your wing?
Yeah, it's a Mojo Dojo Casa house. Huh?
I think he said Mojo Dojo Casa House.
You know what?
Yep.
I'm gonna call my
Frozen.
wing Dave.
Oh, I like that.
The Dave wing. I
Dave
like
wing.
that. Okay, that's nice. She is mustering all of her energy to take care of her husband, and well, I feel sorry for him. He may die by the end of this weekend. She's Rebecca Frost.
Yeah, I'm not a caretaker. Don't that's why I don't have kids. I'm not taking care of nobody.
As she eats.
I'm not taking
Shout
it.
out to Hruska's Kolaches.
Oh,
Just
I love
like
those.
Kolache times.
That is. My father approves of his mustache. He's quad T, too tall toady.
Thank you. I'm glad the ghost of Jack would approve.
That's exactly how Jack did it, man.
a man of style.
That's strong.
That's how we
It's so
buried
strong.
him.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Buried him with the mustache?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Twisted and everything. Long. He actually had it pretty long at the end there.
This is almost too long for me. I think I'm gonna trim it up a little bit. It tickles.
Don't you dare, you magnificent
tickles
bastard.
the cheek.
Oh, you're a magnificent bastard, Lee George Cade. Hi.
Last night I was introduced to whiskey sours. I drank 4.
Really?
Yeah, so with the egg white and shaken, it was served to me by a very large German man who shook them and sang me a song while he was making the whiskey sour. So I may also have a little bit of a hangover.
What makes a sour?
Yeah,
Whiskey
bitter-
sour.
Bitters, sour, whiskey, and then egg white makes it smooth.
Put some warheads in there, or
No.
Yeah.
Sour
Runs.
Patch Kids.
Is this how we get Tony to drink?
this is making sense.
Tony, have you heard about the thing where people just put Skittles in a bottle of vodka and leave it?
No. Then you get brown
Everclear
vodka.
too.
Everclear too.
We have Fruit Loops flavored vodka as well.
He's our host with the Fruit Loops flavored vodka. He's Kerry Jackson.
I used to be all about those sweet sugary drinks, but I found that they give me more of a hangover.
Well,
So
yeah,
I-
that's the whole
and
deal.
potentially heartburn.
And yes, that too. So I backed away from it.
Now, what would get me back on the sweet sugary drink boat would be if Carmilla Creeper became a drink.
Ew.
Loving the
Carmilla
Carmilla Creeper, huh?
Get Jimmy
It's
the wine guy.
good.
I bet he could make one.
easily.
probably.
Yeah. He would taste the cereal and go, hints of caramel. I'll do this, and it'll be Bailey's, and it'll be this, and
Just a little
That
bit of
exact presentation, too.
maltodextrin in there.
Fancy.
he'd do that. All right. I was just happy to find that my liquor store next to my house is finally selling soju, my favorite booze in the world. Yes! I know, right? I know, even the flavored ones, but I prefer just the straight ones. But it's so good.
Google
Well,
it.
I found a new flavor of energy drink, sour pink lemonade. It's
good.
Delicious.
A little vodka.
I've
in there,
been
but-
drinking a whole lot of this thing. Maybe you've heard of it, called water.
Oh, yes.
Oh, I got that right here. You know,
I
You
got
gotta
this
hydrate.
new acrylic earth texture from Vallejo.
Yum, yum,
You've
yum.
been drinking that, huh? All right.
Except I was drinking coffee
Hey,
out of
Carrie.
my KPCW mug. Carrie, don't be mad. I have a KPCW mug.
It's okay. That station's going out of business, so I'm not
It
concerned.
is.
Bad Brad Wheeler's trying to buy it, and I encourage people to go to his
trying to buy-
GoFundMe page.
KPC, the Park City one?
The Park City station, yeah, he's trying to buy it. It's remarkably affordable.
Well, how
Wild.
affordable are we talking, Carrie Jackson?
$17, $18.
Not about 300
That's why
grand or something.
This
yeah.
mug,
Oh,
this
that's
mug
a
in
lot.
particular, because my mother-in-law bullies me into donating every time Habitat for Humanity does a drive, because she's a Habitat for Humanity person. So she always bullies me, and she's like, "This is the last year they're doing the mugs," and I'm like, "Oh, I'm glad I got one. Why aren't they doing it?" She's like, "Oh, because the guy who does it isn't doing it anymore because he was basically doing it for free." So
That mug looks pretty substantial. That looks like a murder mug. You could
this is a
easily,
hefty mug.
you know.
I love it, and it's a big. I'm a big mug fan. I love a big mug.
You like that
Oh.
root beer, huh?
I like
Yeah.
Habitat. I like Habitat for Humanity.
Huge manatees, yes.
Worse than JimmyCarter.com.
Happy
I don't-
birthday, 99.
99.
Jimmy Carter.
I remember.
today.
I remember when I thought he was dead a year ago.
He's in hospice. He's been in hospice for like a year.
Yeah, because he's building more
crazy.
hospices.
His parents
Yeah.
are like, his kids are like, come on, Dad, Jesus. All right, anyway, let's move on. Oh, yes, we got our first, look, yes, but hear of Rick and Morty sound-alike voices.
Yep, right there.
So I listened to them, and I'll be honest, I thought they sounded just like Justin Roiland.
Good enough for me.
I mean,
I'd
here's
say
the
they're-
thing.
I'd say they're
Yeah.
90% of the way there, and after the first
Really?
episode, I'm not even going to notice.
I feel like they sound the exact same. And
Yeah.
the thing is, people have been doing these impressions since when did the
Day
show come
one.
out? 2011?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not
Well-
2011, but
I don't know.
It was like 17, I think, something like that. 16, maybe.
So who is doing the voices?
Yeah, I was just about to ask.
We still don't know.
Yeah, I think it's newcomers, isn't it? It's just people they auditioned and found.
Yeah.
From
Probably.
what I
Well,
understand.
they're
Justin
not.
Roiland
They're not
still.
announcing it. They're not announcing it until the show's out, which I respect, honestly.
I think that's a good idea, honestly, because then you'll tune in. October
Imagine
15th.
You're Justin Roiland, and you're like, oh, I'm so shitty. People had to replace me with these other people, but they sound just right. Whereas Mel Blanc, they had to hire 74 people to replace all of his characters, and none of them
Exactly.
sound right.
Exactly.
Right.
They've got like one guy to do, what is he doing? Bugs and one other character. And I'm like, Mel Blanc sat down and went, okay, what do you need?
Yeah.
Give you 9 characters right now.
Or
in
like,
5
you know,
minutes.
they still haven't managed to peg one good Kermit the Frog voice. But hey, that's fine.
Exactly.
Rick and Morty, easy.
I wonder if they'll ever get Kermit right. Anyway,
Crim it.
so we got the some of the recent art for this trailer that we got to see is spaghetti and meatball situation, blood and guts and poop, and the looming visage of archvillain Rick Prime. And also, Mr. Poopy Butthole makes his appearance there. Yeah.
Yes.
The
So
grossest
excited to see what the man's been up to.
the grossest part of the trailer I saw was where Morty had to jump up onto a giant white ape, stick his tongue in the ape's nose, and clean it
Lick
out.
it around.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
I'm
Right,
pretty excited for this new season.
I'm not
So
Star
there
hungry
you
Trek has
go.
been
anymore.
Star Trek has been doing those very short treks on YouTube,
I
and one of the
love
more
them.
recent. One of the more recent ones is Worst Contact, and they go to a booger planet, and it
Yeah.
was
Yep.
one of the grossest things I've ever seen.
They've been
There's
hilarious.
there's a new one where it's all holograms.
Holograms all the way down.
Yeah, and I just loved it because somehow they managed to bring Neelix back.
Neelix is back?
I'm
All
good.
right.
Now, Dan in the chat room says that they're not announcing the names of the people because they're worried about toxic fan backlash. And
That's as legitimate a reason as any with
Sounds
this
good to me.
IP.
Here's how you recast Rick and Morty's voices: is first you have them star in a Zack Snyder movie, and then afterwards they do the Rick and Morty voices, and the same fans will be like, "Yeah, it's amazing. They're the most
There you
intriguing
go.
talents
It's a
ever."
Venn diagram that's like this.
Yeah.
I like it. Another trailer we got this week that I didn't care about until I saw this trailer, and I went, okay, they get the idea. It's a schlocky film, and it needs to be. That's the remake of The Toxic Avenger. I don't know whether to call it a remake or a reboot or what, but we got our first footage, and its tongue is placed firmly in cheek for in the footage, a news anchor, and it's like these RoboCop type news anchors. They're kind of fake looking, and the news anchor announces, a group of armed extremists, the Nasty Lads, have taken hostages at a Miss Meat Lunchatorium downtown.
What? This sounds like an episode of Invader Zim or something.
Well, I mean, Toxic Avenger was before Invader Zim.
Yeah.
But it looked interesting. And, of course, you got Peter Dinklage as Toxie.
Awesome. Love it.
Elijah Wood's in there. Kevin Bacon's in there somewhere.
I saw a screenshot of Elijah Wood in the trailer, and he looks
Looking like the
wild
Penguin.
in this.
He looks like the Penguin, yeah.
He's nasty looking.
Yeah. Anyway, go watch that if you have a mind to. It's kind of interesting. Real quick here, some housekeeping, and then we'll get on to the rest of the stuff. Geekshow.store launched. Hooray!
Yeah.
Yeah.
And go in there, take a look, read the descriptions of the products before you buy them. I advise that. It's just good to know what you're getting yourself into.
Yeah, like a T-shirt.
Yeah.
Or a hat.
Geekshow.store. This is, we've launched it with just minimum items. We're going to start adding some new ones, including hoodies on the way. Hoodies are on the way just in time for the cold weather. So Geekshow.store. You can go there and pick up all your stuff. Also, don't forget our Saturday matinee coming up for October. On the 14th, it's Monster Squad. And that will be at Broovies in Salt Lake City. Doors at 11:30, pod at noon, movie at 1, and pay what you want. That's how it works. There it is, Monster Squad.
Wolfman and Nards, etc., etc.
Nards?
Yeah, could you imagine, like, you spend years writing this movie, you make the movie, everybody watches the movie, and and I'm not picking on you here, Rebecca, but all anybody remembers is Wolfman as Nards.
Hey, I haven't even seen the movie.
Yeah.
You just know that.
I just know.
Right. It was like Fred Decker wrote one great line in his entire career, and it's Wolfman has Nards.
So that's the 14th at Broovies. And don't forget our Patreon, geekshowgotthiscovered.com, where you can get the secret show that happens after this show. Mm-hmm. All right. Let's see. Blue Beetle. Yeah. Tony saw Blue Beetle.
And I liked it.
And Blue Beetle. The first 10 minutes of Blue Beetle are free on YouTube right now. So...
Okay.
But why?
That was my question, Rebecca, actually. Because it's like, if you're not going to see this movie, would this 10 minutes make you go, I'll give it a shot?
No.
Probably not. I didn't think
But
so.
also,
I haven't seen the movie
it's been in theaters for long enough that, like, why try to reboot? Like, why try to get people interested in it again?
I don't know. Mm-hmm. I know it's available to rent at home on your PVOD, and it's going to be available for purchase on October 31st. But there you go. That's a ways away. So there's that. Another trailer we got this week was, or was it the week before? I think it was the week before. Disney's latest animated film, Wish, is what it's called.
This looks so good.
It does look good.
I do have a minor criticism.
Uh-oh.
Two criticisms, actually. One, her mom is dead. What a twist in a Disney movie. And also...
Hey, there are themes we have to stick to.
Have we noticed that the female characters in these Disney movies, they've really leaned away from like how to describe it? They've started to make all of these main characters so adorkable that's really their only personality trait. So they're like, well, we have to start giving these women personalities, and the only thing that they can think of is adorkable.
Was Tangled the first one that started that, I think? Or around that?
Like Tangled, Frozen, Encanto.
Well, wasn't Belle the original adorkable?
Belle?
Nah,
If we're
she
gonna talk
just
about
had
Belle,
daddy issues.
I'm just asking. Yeah.
Belle walking around town singing her daily song about how much she thinks she's better than the rest of the town. Like,
Right.
not a great role model.
Oh, it was
Yeah,
eternal.
very
She was-
narcissistic.
So I was just excited because Disney hasn't done lush, vibrant background animation like this since Sleeping Beauty.
It really does
Did
look
you
good,
not see
doesn't it?
Encanto?
Oh yeah,
It was
you
all
should.
right.
Oh.
Encanto was beautiful. I'm talking about this. If you watch Sleeping Beauty, there's a tapestry style of background animation that has not been done since. So I'm not even talking about like necessarily beautiful background animation. They've done a lot of that, but this particular style, like looking through, I don't even know what the trailer covered because I was too busy frame by framing looking at the backgrounds. But that's me. So,
Well, apparently other animation nerds were watching this as well.
Nerd.
It beat. This is the most watched trailer for Disney since Frozen 2 back in 2019. 66.5 million views across online platforms.
How
So it
many
was
minutes?
huge.
Alan Tudyk gets to talk now.
Yes,
Yeah.
Did you notice that? Yeah.
Yeah.
it's a musical
I'm just
comedy.
happy to see I'm just happy to see a woman in box braids with a woman of color in box braids with freckles. This is that I'm really just like, you don't see that in a Disney movie. This is dope.
So I looked it up. Her ethnicity is she's North African and Southern European. However,
Oh my God, that's Cape
her
Verdean.
father, her father, played by Victor Garber, is the Southern European, which means her mother is the North African who has died. So,
colonization. All right,
Maybe
it's a love
she,
get out
story.
there.
Wait a minute.
Well,
Yeah.
the plot is 17-year-old Asha, an idealist who makes a wish so powerful that it is answered by a cosmic force, a little ball of boundless energy called Star. So that's the star that you wish upon. It comes down, and it's a cute little anime style. It looks like something out of Pokemon, little ball. But the evil villain, Chris Pine, King Magnifico, which I think is a lazy name, frankly, but
A little on the nose.
it puts her into direct conflict with King Magnifico, who sees himself as the only person who can dispense wishes. The problem is that he does not. He says he does, but he does not.
Well, I guess I get to sue Disney because I
Yeah.
have a character from a musical I did in 1989 where I played a character named His Highness El Gordo Magnifico.
El Gordo, I remember El Gordo Magnifico. Alan Tudyk is Ash's pet goat, Valentino.
With a voice.
Yeah.
Now
so
with a
they,
voice.
they didn't let Alan Tudyk be a human. He's still an animal, but at least he
Maybe
gets to
Alan
talk.
Tudyk doesn't allow himself to be
But
a human.
here's the thing. He sounds like the voice he's doing for Clayface, honestly.
Yes.
That's why I was like, is that
Noticed
Clayface?
that.
That's
Noticed
what I
that.
kept hearing in my head.
I think Rebecca has a point, though. We really need to drill down here and start really exploring Disney's war on moms.
War on
did you hear
parents in
about-
general, really.
They're redoing Bambi, and they're gonna make Bambi woke, and now we're gonna kill Bambi's two moms.
Wait, what?
Damn.
Is that,
They're not
is that a real
remaking
thing?
Bambi. No, they're not.
Yeah, they're gonna digitally animate it and say it's live action.
Oh, live action.
Bambi
Okay.
reboot.
All right.
Yeah.
Evan Peters, Harvey.
2 days ago, there's a story.
Where?
The internet.
What source?
Don't
Give me a
ask
source.
It's called
You do it.
it's called
You do
Rebecca's
this-
Trash.
Exactly.
Rebecca's Trash Rumorsite.com.
You do this all the time, Rebecca, and it's always a bad source.
Her source
No,
is,
it's not. In an interview with Collider, screenwriter Lindsay
Collider.
Anderson Beer shared details of how they will give the new approach to Bambi with their remake.
I stopped listening at Collider. All right. We got a whole bunch of little teases and trailers this week from Netflix, and it's all like anime stuff.
Bring it.
Okay, you ready? The
Yes.
first one, we got our first look at Tomb Raider: The Legend of Lara Croft.
Oh, yeah. They called this a trailer, but it's not really a trailer.
It's just sort of a teaser, and there's no release
barely.
date, but they wanted to show it to you, and it looked great. It really did.
Deadline.com from June 2023. Sarah Polley, Academy Award winning writer director Sarah Polley, in talks to direct live action Bambi for Disney.
You lost me at Disney.
Oh, it's live action? Okay.
All
No,
right.
I mean, I am so excited about. I've been wanting. Rebecca, that's awesome news. Thank you. For
My favorite My favorite thing about these Disney live action animes is it's like they're not live action. It's all computer generated now. It's just a different form of animation.
Yeah, like say the Lion King movie in particular, and
That's not
Lion
live
King
action.
and
Or Jungle Book.
You're like
It's
you
not
put
live action.
one live human in there. It's live action.
Come on.
Haley Atwell is the voice of Laura Croft on that, but also,
What?
yeah,
She
Nice.
was so good in that League of Legends in Arcane. She's amazing. She does great voice work. So
it was the Tomb Raider news was preceded by a whole bunch of announcements, including a very brief teaser for the Devil May Cry adaptation
love it.
that they are doing based on the Capcom action game.
What's
That
he
game.
crying about?
That
I
story
don't
is
know.
just
No, he
weird.
may
It's
cry.
bonkers.
He may
Oh.
choose to cry. He's not. He doesn't actually cry, but he's been given permission to cry.
And then there's another thing, which was a full-on trailer called Blue Eye Samurai.
I didn't get one for
That's
that.
He-Man.
You didn't get a Blue Eye Samurai?
He's got blue eyes and a sword. I figured, yeah, that's
All
the guy.
Same thing.
It is described as a vivid adult animation with live-action edge. The story itself is set in Edo, period of Japan, follows a mixed-race master of the sword, Mizu, considered an outcast and a monster as she seeks to serve her revenge on the man who made her. Blue Eye Samurai. A lot of great voices, actors. Randall Park, George Takei, Masi Oka.
Nice.
I'll go back and redo Umbrella Academy with animation. Netflix.
Nah, it's fine. Live action's
No,
fine.
it's fine.
Yeah.
Do animation too.
But you can go to the next picture now. Masters of the Universe Revolution.
Yeah,
we
yeah.
got to look at that one too.
I love this show, and also the true hero of Masters of the Universe. He's right up here. There's Stratos.
Stratos.
He's up there.
Oh, he's
See
right up
Stratos
way up
there?
on the left
He's
side.
Up there. He's like, hey, it's me, Stratos. Oh, no, up here it's Buzz Off. Look, see Buzz Off.
Here was
See
the
Buzz
thing
Off?
about here was the thing about Stratos.
Yeah.
Whenever you went to the toy store and the
Yeah.
He-Man figures, there were always tons of Stratos.
Yeah.
He was
Yeah, you
always
know why?
the-
Because kids are lame and they don't recognize the true hero of Masters of the Universe.
Clearly.
Stratos saved Eternia like 100 times. Buzz Off, he's lame. He's a go away, Buzz Off.
But speaking
Stratos?
of action figures,
Buzz off, buzz off.
Scare Glow is going to be featured in this show.
Now, isn't
Great.
Scare Glow just Skeletor that glows in the dark?
It's
Well,
it's a Masters Universe action figure that is black, and he's got glow in the dark bones painted on him.
Yeah,
Oh.
Yeah.
it was a pretty cool action figure, but he never appeared on the show.
No, he's no Stratos.
No, he's no Stratos.
You're right. He's not. Thank goodness.
We lost Jay.
He says he's coming back.
Oh, okay.
Hang on, I'm writing. He's no Stratos.
Ah, that's not Stratos either.
He's no
That's not
Stratos
Stratos.
either. He's
But
better.
we can go to James Gunn though.
Yeah,
Because here is what if you follow James Gunn on social media, you'll learn a lot of stuff. Because he's not afraid of answering questions most of the time, not all the time. Of course, the story I missed last week was that Warner Brothers is building him this great big new facility in London to shoot his superhero movies.
Yep.
wow.
Okay.
So there's that. I imagine it'll have some.
Because there's no unions or guilds over there that are on strike.
Yeah, and I'm sure they're probably building him a volume as well. You know, so he can play with that.
A Vegas orb.
A Vegas orb, yeah. But they ask him about Superman Legacy and all that stuff, and here's what he said: the first up that you're going to get is Creature Commandos, the animated series. He said nothing is canon until Creature Commandos next year, a sort of aperitif to the DCU, and
Well,
then
it's animation.
Okay,
It's
so-
like they're catering to me.
But then,
Specifically.
so then why Blue Beetle? Why Aquaman too?
well,
Just
Well,
cause?
he's getting to that.
yeah, because Aquaman 2 was bought and paid for already, and first Aquaman was very popular. It made a lot of money for Warner Brothers. So
I think it's the best DC movie ever made.
I don't know about that. But it's
Interesting.
pretty fun.
Ah,
you know?
yeah.
Interesting
like-
opinion to have
It's the Citizen Kane of DC movies.
of Aquaman movies.
Yeah.
of Aquaman, it's the of Aquaman.
Just gonna roll
I
with
give-
it. He's right.
then
He's out of line, but he's right.
And then after Creature Commandos, a deeper dive into the universe with Superman Legacy after that. It's a very human drive to want to understand everything all the time, but I think it's okay to be confused on what's happening in the DCU since no one has seen anything from the DCU yet.
Really hard to do better than that cartoon, James Gunn.
Yep. And yes, some actors will be playing characters they've played in other stories, and some plot points might be consistent with plot points from the dozens of films, shows, and animated projects that have come from DC in the past, but nothing is canon until Creature Commandos and Legacy.
Yeah.
And here are the people that he says are going to come on along for the ride. And that is Blue Beetle,
Yep.
Peacemaker,
Yep. Played by the same
Obviously.
actors. Yep.
and Amanda Waller, Viola Davis.
It's great.
Well, she's perfect.
Yeah. He said those are the three that are coming along. The rest, I'll let you know.
Okay. Choices. Interesting choices. Everybody's so
Interesting
creative.
choices. I know.
Those are great choices.
The best choices.
Well, I think you could go beyond that and say, well, since Peacemaker's coming, then naturally maybe some of the cast would be coming along too. I mean,
Yeah, pretty sure. I
You know,
that's kind of a given. He's not going to not cast his wife in that role again. Come on.
there's that, and his brother as the rat guy.
Yeah.
So,
Weasel.
Weasel, thank you. Let's see. Anyway, so the to the business of show, the writers seem to have a deal with.
Did it get ratified?
It's not yet. Not
They're
yet.
Disney money.
voting. They're voting the week of October 2nd.
Yes,
that's like this week.
That's Monday.
But if you follow Adam Kahn over on social media, he says that this is a win. They got what they wanted. And he's been kind of out in the forefront of this whole thing. So there's that. The actors, however, have not signed anything yet. And that's still going to slow things down. We're going to get our nighttime talk shows back. I guess Stephen Colbert is back next week.
Stephen Colbert, Jimmy Fallon, The Daily Show, and Seth Meyers are all coming back. I am so excited for Seth Meyers, you guys. I
good.
have been dying without my closer look.
So does Drew Barrymore feel like she got the raw end of the stick here? 'Cause
If she'd have just waited a week.
I was going to say,
It's funny,
do I
the
care? Do I care if she feels
Barrymores-
that
I
way?
don't care.
Yeah, I was about to say. I was like, I
have
don't
a
really
long
care.
history. The Barrymores have a long history of just ruining things, like just not going with what their guild wants. Dates all the way back to Star Trek, you guys.
Oh, yeah.
Wait, you worked Star Trek into it again. Well done.
I know. It's my new
Next thing she's
superpower.
gonna do is
Thank you,
talk
sister.
about Barbie.
And now the SAG-AFTRA members, nearly 35,000 SAG-AFTRA members have voted in favor of a strike authorizing the interactive media agreements. So that's the
Yeah.
video game actors.
Yep.
Nice.
And it's not just voice actors, it's the motion capture actors as
Mocap,
well.
Yep, all that.
And this affects, well, everybody. I mean, Activision, Disney, Electronic Arts, Formosa Interactive, Insomniac, Epic, Take-Two. I mean, you name it. It affects all of them. So they have voted to strike as well. And it says, we're asking for three things: consent for use, transparency around how it's used, and compensation for that use.
I'd say those
Seems
are reasonable.
Reasonable.
things.
With regards to safety, this is interesting. The negotiating chair, who has worked on Hi-Fi Rush and Fortnite, said, we've seen, this is about directing the live action stuff, the motion capture stuff. We've seen bloody fingers, repetitive stress injuries from lifting realistically weighted AK-47s or large guns to do turns, and all these atomized pieces of these animations that string together. Oftentimes, you're taking direction from an animator or a coder or a writer who doesn't understand that a person can't crouch and walk for 20 minutes straight. He also said, unlike a TV stunt, there's no change of wardrobe, change of lights or setup. It's fall, dive through a table, and then do it over and over again for 8 hours straight.
There's a voice actress does a lot of motion capture in England named Anna Demetrio, and her YouTube channel is phenomenal because she goes over what a day of mocap is, and she's like, yeah, you say it's a day to cover one page of dialogue, but with all the motion capture, you might be in a rig for 2-3 days just being photographed over and over and over again. You look at Baldur's Gate 3, we just found out that Shadowheart actually has bard dialogue if you decide to spec her as a bard, which means this character, who's in no way, shape, or form meant to be a bard, they recorded her doing bard stuff because somebody might decide to do bard stuff with that character. And so that actress had to record all of that stuff.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
All right. In other sort of business, Netflix mailed its last DVD this week.
Oh, man.
On Friday.
DVDs.
I used to be my favorite mail day was Netflix Red Envelope Day.
Yep. It says in
Rest in postage. Rest in postage.
Yeah, rest in
Yeah.
postage.
Together.
in 1998, it says they delivered their first DVD, and Friday morning they shipped their last. If you're
What? Did
wondering
it say
what
what it
those
was?
were,
Yeah.
I have both of those. Yes.
Oh, good.
The first DVD that they shipped in 1998 was a copy of Beetlejuice.
Word.
The
Nice.
final envelope contained a DVD copy of the 2010 film True Grit from the Coen brothers.
Good for them.
Hey, both good movies.
I
was the
saw
last one.
I saw on Instagram a guy, because they're letting you, if you are the person who got the last week's worth of DVDs, they're just letting you keep them. So there's a guy who's like, I love classic movies. I love the Red Envelope because they had a lot of the really obscure things that you can't find on Netflix. And so he's
That's
just like,
true.
the last envelope I got from them was Sound of Music. And there's a
So
note in there
obscure.
that said, this is your movie now. Well, he wanted a classic that
I
he
know.
could end his subscription on. So
Well, if you really love the red envelope, you can go on Netflix webpage and go to merch, and for $50 you can purchase a sleeping bag that looks like the envelope, so you can crawl into.
Can I
Oh,
mail
that's kind of
myself?
fun, though.
Can I mail myself in this sleeping
You
bag?
That's
tuck
kinda
yourself in like a DVD, and then we'll have your
Netflix merch.
we'll have your body shipped.
Absolutely not. Nope. Yeah, like
Then get one of these fun little sleeping bags.
especially how you end that last sentence. You end that last sentence with "have your body shipped." I don't want that at all.
Have your body shipped. But anyway, it's again. I think this is a bad thing because again, I'm back on my. This is the other church I belong to, Rebecca. Besides Star Trek, it's the Physical Media Church. Because
I can't get on board. I'm sorry.
they're taking shows off of these services and you can't watch them because they've decided that you can't. And unless you have a physical copy of it, you're screwed.
well, something
You know
Brett just
what,
brought
though?
up.
Just
What's that?
learn how to surf the high seas.
Yeah.
Brett said he loved the Netflix DVDs because of the anime options, and I have to agree. There is a show called Noween that I can't find on anything that I watched on the Netflix DVD stuff. Going through like Firefly, we didn't know Firefly. We didn't have. We were working nights when Firefly came out, so that show came and went without us even being aware of it. If it wasn't for this DVD service, we would have never watched the show because of the three sheep town we lived in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and that's who was still servicing with the red envelopes were places without internet,
Right.
and there's still a significant portion of the planet without it.
What are those 14 hillbillies outside of Taos, New Mexico going to do now?
Watch Sound of Music over and over again.
I like that anime.
I like it. I like it a lot.
Go to
Keep
the
up on my
You know what?
anime.
B&B down the road.
I like the anime Tetsuo.
You know,
Oh my God.
I got one problem with this one. The fan service is through the roof. I think the jiggle physics went a little too high.
I'll say
Yeah.
Salt Lick loved Akira. He was a big fan.
He loved a good
Us.
anime.
I was hoping that brainy boy at the end would win, but no.
No, he didn't. That was so sad. I still
In the name of the
cry.
moon, I'll punish you.
Kamehameha.
Have you seen that girl on TikTok? She speaks Japanese, but what she'll do is she'll just speak Japanese, but with a hick accent.
Oh,
Oh,
wow.
I need
gotta
to see that.
That
It's
hurts
very
my
funny.
that.
brain.
Jay, have you seen the Attack on Titan?
Hey,
These-
Salt Lake. I saw
Yeah?
this one enemies and this boy, his name Monkey. and he yelled, "Gum, gum, torpedo," because he made a rubber.
Well,
That was
them
so good.
them Attack on Titans, they eat people. They pick them up and eat them.
Yep.
They just eat them, Jay.
Just-
It's so sad.
Just like walking out in my garden, grabbing a cherry tomato.
Exactly.
Oh, just down the hatch.
And it's funny you would say cherry tomato because that's an awful lot of what it looked.
Yeah, big red cherry tomatoes.
You ever watch Speed Racer and the cars all stack up on top of each other, and your dad
That-
comes in and goes, "That don't work."
That kid and that monkey hiding in the trunk all the time.
Hey, why does
Eating
Speed
up the
Racer always have a
hijinks.
gun?
Hey, yeah, Speed Racer has a gun.
He always had a gun. He always had a blick
he's-
on him. He always
in
kept
Japan,
that thing.
he's a spy in Japan. Over here, we're just like, "Oh, he likes to race."
It's for when he gets road rage and wants
Yeah.
to tail somebody for miles in Eagle Mountain.
This,
Very
Well,
specific.
that sounds very specific.
Yeah.
It's because Eagle Mountain is like the hub of that particular thing.
Hub of, it's
Rebecca.
where Crazy goes to
You've
live.
been following
I was
me
just
again,
there.
Rebecca?
Don't drive like an idiot, Tony.
For our next story,
Well, hello, Mr. Fancy Pants.
all right. Good news. If you did not see this series, I think it was 3 seasons. Ash versus Evil Dead.
Groovy.
Yeah, and it
was
is coming. Huh?
It's a fun show.
Yeah, it was pretty good. I watched the first season.
It's coming to Hulu October 1st.
Nice.
So there you go. Ash versus Evil Dead. It was premiered in 2015, ran for 3 seasons, giving the not so gracefully aging Ash, who's been
Oh, he's
vigorous,
such a loser.
he's been vigorously trying to forget his past as a warrior against the supernatural.
But he still
Until-
works at S-Mart.
Yeah. Until the day comes that he's unable to deny his destiny with the help of sidekicks like Kelly, who is there, who is terrific on this show, and Pablo Ray Santiago,
Yep,
who
he's good too.
and Lucy Lawless shows
Yeah,
up.
you get
That was
you
the
get
genius.
the Xena reunion. Lucy
That
Lawless
was the genius, and
Bruce
that is
Campbell.
bringing somebody in that hits as hard as he does comedically, and Lucy Lawless is peerless. So having the two of them on screen together, I think, was just perfect because
But-
she could bring it as hard as he could.
That's true, but the genius casting for this show
Oh yeah,
was Ash's dad, which is Lee Majors, old Lee Majors.
Yeah. Yep.
It's Ash's dad.
he don't mean to kiss and tell.
No. So that's October 1st on your Hulu if you did not see that. Okay. Now, this story, I was hesitant to report it because I didn't like the sources.
Collider, huh?
Was it Deadline?
It was
a
Deadline.
collider.
It was Deadline. And that's the only place that this story is showing up, which confuses me. But anyway.
I only get my news from El Calido.
I get all my news from OAN.
Come on from Collider.
I get my news from BET.
Yeah. I get it from the Farmer's Almanac.
Oh my God, farmers on.
One day I'm going to do a one-man show for Jay that's just Salt Lick. It'll just be for
Yep.
Jay. It won't be for anyone else. It'll
I
be,
want to watch.
But Jay, you won't know what's happening. You're just going to turn
No.
on your light in your living room, and Carrie's going to be
There
sitting
he
there in
is.
costume.
and I'll be right there in my overalls.
Whale.
Nope.
Overalls, but no shirt, right?
Yeah.
Overalls,
Nope.
no shirt, and a trucker hat. That's what it'll be.
Nope.
Anyway. So this Marvel Studios, it says, will start taking pitch meetings with writers now that the writers' strike is over, who are interested in scripting X-Men in the MCU. There is no planned release date or anything, but they want to hear your pitch. If you know somebody at Marvel, if you know Kevin Feige,
Now's your chance, Lee.
now's your chance. So we've been waiting for this ever since 2017 because that's when they bought Fox and the rights back.
I've been
For
waiting
the
for this
X-Men.
since 1979.
Though
In 1979, you're like, man, I can't wait till Disney buys Marvel.
No, I really want. I've been wanting like really coherent, awesome, true, bright 4-color X-Men since I was 9 years old.
Mm-hmm.
Did you not watch the
Are
made-for-TV
you-
series
yeah, are you-
Generation X?
Disappointed
Yes, I
in
did. Matt
everything
Frewer
that's
was
come out
amazing.
since.
Matt Frewer was
No,
amazing. Get it?
Yeah, you almost got me there, Tony, but you didn't, did you?
I love it. I taped
no,
that show.
I
I watched
liked-
it a ton of times when I was little.
I liked a lot of the Fox stuff that came out, but I want that 4-color X-Men experience. I want bright, vibrant, let's have fun. It doesn't have to be so freaking serious.
Okay,
X-Men.
well, that's
You know what's kind of crazy? The X-Men don't really fight crime. It's always
No.
like they're always just like looking out for themselves.
They
Yeah,
fight
but-
prejudice and racism.
Exactly. That's
Injustice,
what I
yeah.
said. The X-Men are really just they just like, if you mess with us, if you mess with one of us, you get all of us, and we all got hands. Like there are so many pages of Storm just smacking the shit out of people.
Listen.
It's
Catch
great.
these claws. Snick.
once this happens, do not do a drinking game where right-wing pundits call it woke and you take a drink every time because you will be dead. So here's my question for you all. And I think we kind of got Lee's, but here you go. Pitch me X-Men in the MCU. Bring them in. What is it?
Make them all people of color, and then it make more sense.
They're just kind of there. I think we go back and we edit all of the MCU movies, and they're just kind of there in the background.
Yeah, well, I was going to say, yeah, it's something that is like in the hero community, it would be the open secret. Everyone knows the mutants exist in the hero community, but they haven't said anything about it because they
Then where were
wanna
they
protect
in
them.
Endgame?
well,
Where was Jessica Jones, Daredevil, Luke Cage?
Yeah, I mean,
where were they?
there was plenty, So that's what I would do. I would sneak them in the back door, be like, they've been here the whole time, but we've been keeping them a secret.
They were Skrulls the whole time.
Or
Okay.
you could do scrolls, or they were on Krakoa or whatever they're on,
There you go.
that they
Yeah, it's like it's like
that
it's
they've
like
been- they've just
Wakanda
been
or
chilling on
something.
their own planet, and then
I feel like
I feel like
what they're going. Oh,
awkward silence.
Yeah.
Oh, no, you keep breaking up. We can't hear what you're pitching.
No, my bad.
All right. Think about it. Think about it. Let me know.
I think that what they're going to do is they're going to use the whole Deadpool multiverse.
That's
Oh,
a good way
these
to do
X-Men
it too,
over
yeah.
here we're going to bring some of them in, but they're that other universe's X-Men. Oh, look, they were here all along. Whereas what I would love for them to do is have a different multiverse where, kind of like they have the Toby verse, they have the Andrew verse, have an X-Men universe where they cut into the First Class, but then you start doing the Black Swan storyline where they have to start destroying universes, because if they don't, they're gonna blow up the Prime universe. So they
you
start
smush some universes together.
So you start bringing, and then you
Universe
get
balls.
that fantastic storyline that I love so much, where Doctor
It
Doom
is
has
good.
to become the Sorcerer Supreme.
It is good, yes.
Yeah. So you do your First Class, and then they start, because they come to the Prime universe where the MCU is taking place at. All of a sudden, mutation exists. They start getting young mutants, and the first 5 have to go. But I've already cast Cyclops. Finally,
Scott Marsden.
nope.
James Marsden.
If you watch,
Thanks, Tony.
If you
Thank
watch-
you.
if you watch the live action One Piece, the guy that plays Sanji, the cook, he's Cyclops in my head. He's perfect.
Okay.
He's charismatic, but he's got that kind of that Chris Evans stoicism, but without a stick up your ass.
Chris Evans
So-
doesn't have a stick up his ass.
That's what I'm talking about. Chris Evans pulls off that stoicism because he doesn't have a stick up his ass, whereas other people that play that kind of character, that stoic leader, is so hard to pull off, because what they usually do is,
'Cause they
I
have
have a
sticks up
stick
their
up my
butts,
yeah.
yeah.
No, you have to have that inner core of, oh, this guy's just righteous, and that's how he operates. It that's that guy, right? That's Scott Summers.
We also mustn't forget that they have kind of already introduced mutants into the MCU
Right.
with Ms. Marvel.
Yeah.
Ms. Marvel and
And,
is Scarlet Witch technically a mutant?
Well,
she was
no,
created.
they
She's trash.
that's a whole other thing.
All right.
I swear
Terry, I
there was
told
one
you
other.
not to talk about Scarlet Witch.
She's trash.
I swear there was one other character that they hinted at
Yeah.
having mutation other than
Gentrifying.
Miss Marvel. Was there? Or maybe I'm thinking.
I don't think so.
something else.
I think they only really like did the thing with Ms.
Okay.
Marvel.
All right.
All right. Well, maybe that's how you do it, is use Miss Marvel to introduce more of them. Although, what was the porcupine in She-Hulk? Wasn't that a mutant? No, that was a costume.
I just say they just show up.
Oh, that's what it was. Well, I guess it
Yes.
was just some of the characters in She-Hulk are mutants in the comics, but they didn't specifically say they were mutants in the Marvel universe.
Or you go real easy with the whole thing. Magic can go between dimensions, so you literally she just opens a portal and there they are. You know.
Yeah.
And Anya Taylor-Joy was a great magic anyway, so keep her
Like, hey
coming.
guys,
Yeah.
She was
How's it
good.
Oh,
going?
Sean in the chat says that Emma Frost's name came up in Secret Invasion.
That would be
Did
cool.
it? I didn't catch that.
That's
the thing about
that's
it,
the
these-
problem is I didn't finish Secret Invasion, and if I had known there was an Emma Frost reference, I would have watched.
I
These
didn't
are
catch that.
characters that have been hiding for their own survival for decades, right?
That's what I said at the
Yeah,
beginning
of
of
course.
this conversation.
Well, that's I didn't want
Tony,
to
I'm
give
so
you
sorry,
any
but we're
credit
not
for
listening
that.
to you.
oh, okay.
But that's like the Eternals, though. Can they do that again and
well, what
pull it
about
off?
Namor?
Namor is a
Brady's
mutant.
He's a
Yeah,
mutant.
he's
Comics,
hinted
yeah.
as a mutant.
that's
Yeah.
right. Yeah.
Well, okay, then guess what?
That
we don't
was
need
the
to
other one
pitch
I
it
was
because they've
thinking.
already done it. Good job.
Yeah.
All right, we're in. All right, then. What did you consume this week? Who wants to go?
Man.
I'll go first. I got
I'll go
a
first.
decent. Okay,
Oh,
you can go
okay.
first.
Jay?
It's a delay. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry. I'm
It's
sorry.
funny.
The
It
Mojo
adds for
Dojo
comedic
Casa
effect.
House has, like, weird.
Yeah.
Yeah. I started watching Netflix's Kengan Ashura. The season 3 is back and it's absolutely fun. I remember watching it during like 2020, 2021. Great series, great animation. It's basically like where all these different corporations have these huge fighting tournaments, and it's like imagine if Olive Garden had like the Olive Garden Corporation had their number 1 ranked fighter, and they go out and against the Old Navy's best jujitsu fighter, and
The rugby shirts.
yeah, and then if whoever wins the fight makes more money for the company. Yeah, it's just like it's just great. Watch.
There's-
It's so much fun. It's like
There's
it's like
3
Street Fighter,
seasons of this?
Tekken, and like Successions in. Yeah, it's like if you like Succession, if you like Street Fighter and Tekken, watch King and Ashura. There you go.
I
Okay.
will.
That's all I've been
fun.
consuming.
That sounds like something that you'd be into, Tony.
Yeah, for sure.
Well then,
Check that
Tony,
out.
why don't you go next?
All right. This week was a week of endings for TV shows for me. Finished up a bunch of shows. Harley Quinn, fantastic season of Harley Quinn. Finished that up. Can't recommend enough these next 2. Reservation Dogs, absolutely phenomenal
Great show.
way to
Yep.
wrap up the series. It was the series
Absolutely.
finale.
It was so good. I have
So
that on my
good.
list.
I
So happy with it.
absolutely love that show.
That episode with Ethan Hawke.
Oh, so good.
Oh, Ethan
Bet-
Hawke shows up?
Yeah.
Yeah, but those 2 characters and that whole storyline and the way that those 2 bounce off of each other, it was inspired. It was really good.
I've never seen a show balance comedy and feels as well as Reservation Dogs, like comedy and drama, personal drama, and oh man, so good. Also finished up Futurama. Futurama season finale was very
gotta
good,
finish that. Yes.
super good.
Thank
I love how every episode this season they tended to take a either a sci-fi trope or something that happened to us in the last 5 to 8 years that they would have lampooned at the time, and then bring it back around for now. Really good. And then also finished, not finished up, but because I thought I was done, but there's a couple more episodes. That Adventure Time, Fiona and Cake.
How is
It's
it?
so good, Tony.
Holy
oh
moly.
my god. Yes.
I'm up to date on that one. Well, I think I'm 1 episode behind now, but man, it is absolutely just phenomenal. If you had any interest in Adventure Time back when it was on, or you've watched it since then, this is one of the best sequels I've ever seen to a show ever. Just
Oh, my friend
absolutely great.
Ellis can help you out.
Oh yeah, so
I'm
good.
LSP.
You mean Lumpy Space Princess? So good.
It's a guy who lives in the woods.
Yep. And then I did some homework. Last thing I want to mention, I did some homework. I watched the David Lynch Dune.
Yes.
Oh boy, oh boy.
Okay. First off,
You loved it.
there's some good stuff in this show,
Yeah.
actually. There was
Yeah.
some parts I enjoyed.
Yeah.
And there was some parts that made me just go, "Huh, what?" And it all culminates in the last 15 minutes of just pure, unadulterated wackadoo. Like, it is just
And
wild.
did they tell you 2 years passed? No.
No. They mention it briefly, but they don't say how long has passed at all when they're like,
No.
my sister grew quickly. And
Yeah.
like, I'm just like, okay,
how
now
quickly?
the last scene. Okay, first of all, Baron Harkonnen, what did he do to that character? That character is absolutely wild in this movie.
The bit
And
where they're
then-
popping all of his boils and he's just sexy talking
Yeah.
to his nephews.
And he just floats around the room going,
Yeah. I love it. I love it.
and then right near the very end when Paul Atreides' sister comes in and uses the voice on on Harkonnen, oh, I died laughing. It was one of the funniest things I've ever seen.
Well, I've told this before, but when that movie opened in theaters and we went to theaters to see it on the opening weekend, they handed out newsletters, for lack of a better term, that explained, here's what's going on.
Zines.
Because
And I'm like,
that.
What is this?
If
This
I
is
had-
homework.
Oh yeah, if I hadn't read the book, would have no idea.
And I love that depending on which cut you manage to get your hands on, it's either a David Lynch film or an Ellen Smithy film because the movie was so freaking weird. The studio came in and added 30 minutes of voiceover over production art explaining what all the different houses were, who the Landsrack
man.
Emperor was, why the Spice Guilds existed, all this stuff. And Lynch took one look at that and he's like, this is stupid. It's half an hour before the movie even starts. Give your audience some, a little bit of credit for intelligence. Of course, the movie had already bombed at that point.
Yeah, I was gonna
Yeah.
say, but
Yeah.
anyway, if you want, just watch it not for seriousness reasons. Watch it for the ridiculousness reasons, and you'll have a good time.
Oh, yeah.
Rebecca?
I watched 4 movies, and because we didn't get to talk about movies last week, I'm just going to go in chronological order that I've watched them.
Okay.
Dave Made a Maze. I believe this movie is from 2017. It's on Amazon Prime. One of the most unique and creative movies that I've ever seen in my entire life.
This was at Sundance. I remember now, yeah.
I highly encourage you to watch this, especially it makes a great October movie. It's I don't know how else to describe it except I never thought I would see a House of Leaves movie, and this manages to make a House of Leaves movie, but extremely lighthearted and I can't stress the word creative enough. Essentially, this guy, Dave, makes a cardboard maze in his house and can't get out. And so his girlfriend and a documentary crew go in there to try to get him out. And
It's cardboard.
truly, but it's all cardboard. It's
Just walk through it.
Well, you would think. The thing that got me to watch was I saw a comment about it, how the local liquor store where they got a lot of their boxes from to make this movie, gets an executive producer credit.
Oh,
so,
good.
Nice.
I can't stress enough. It's one of the most creative movies I've seen in probably my entire life. Then on Hulu, there's a great new horror movie on Hulu called No One Will Save You. Starring
Is it good?
Oh, it's
'Cause I watched the trailer
butt
and I was
clencher
like,
of a movie.
Is this the one you were
Yeah.
telling me I needed to watch?
Correct. This
Okay.
is starring Caitlin Dever. It's a take on a home invasion story, and it's no secret in the trailer it's aliens.
Right.
But it is, like I said, it's a real butt clencher of a movie. There's a special aspect of this movie that was spoiled for me before I watched it, so I'm not going to tell you here, but it really makes the movie even more special when you watch it. So highly recommend. There's even there's a page of the script floating around on Twitter that kind of shows you the the creativity that can go into script writing, and how if you have read this page, and when you get to that scene in the movie, you see how Caitlin Dever is performing what is written in the script. I know I'm saying just a lot of words right now, but highly recommend it. Very scary. It's on Hulu. And then this week I went to go see the new Gareth Edwards movie, The Creator.
How
was it?
Hi. Once again, Gareth Edwards has made an incredibly visually stunning movie that's also so boring.
Oh, that's right up my alley. I love movies like that.
It's a story about the dangers of the potential dangers of AI, and essentially the story
it's true. It's dangerous.
It takes place in a pseudo dystopian future where, for a period of time, AI was part of our daily lives and incorporated in the workforce and in our home lives, and then AI nukes LA, and so AI gets banned all across the world except for New Asia. So then America takes it upon themselves to go destroy all of the remaining AI in New Asia. So it's also a very heavy-handed Vietnam War metaphor, and just there's not an original bone in this movie. It's lone wolf and cub, and it takes a lot of the tropes that we've seen before and doesn't do anything original with them.
That's too bad. It was number 3 at the box office this weekend, behind Saw X and number 1, Paw Patrol.
I was going to go see it, but I don't like documentaries.
Well, and the thing is, Gareth Edwards, he does such a good job at highlighting scale, because the man did that first new Godzilla movie and Rogue One. So when it comes to larger thing, very cool to see. But something that also really stuck out for me, if your movie is going to be very technology focused, I need the technology to be consistent. And it just did not feel very consistent throughout the movie.
Okay.
So I don't know. And then last night I watched a movie from 2011, We Need to Talk About Kevin, starring Tilda Swinton and John C. Reilly and Ezra Miller. I knew what it was about. Yeah. I don't know why I waited so long to watch it. It doesn't quite hit as hard in the year 2023, because it is about the relationship between a mother and a son, and the son is just a tiny sociopath who grows up to go do a school shooting. And so it's a really well told story. Doesn't, like I said, doesn't really hit as hard in the year 2023 as it did in 2011. Yeah. But yeah, just a really good character driven story.
All right.
Nice.
Lee.
All right. So I couldn't sleep the other night, so I got up and I started watching some shows that I realized I hadn't watched the first few episodes of. So I started Arrested Development from season 1, and if I remember, if I remember watching the first 2 episodes, I don't remember watching the first 2 episodes. So realizing that, the characters were a little lower key, they were a little toned down, but they were setting up jokes on the first episode that didn't play out until season 2 or 3.
Yep.
Yeah.
Masterclass in writing. So amazingly
good.
well done. Second season of Wheel of Time continues to be one of my favorite adaptations of a book, because they learn when to just back up and say, no, we don't need to do this part. And I'll get to adaptations in a second. Resident Alien finally getting through that. Season 3 is killing me. It is so damn good. As opposed to the final season of Henry Cavill on The Witcher, where I said, I would have left too. This is some boring shit.
Oh boy.
Boom.
Fiona and Cake, second episode, when they actually do a sequel to Adventure Time, and you see old weird Jake.
Lee, I was sitting there misty-eyed that entire episode, man.
Yeah, it's so good.
Say that, and that was your Adventure Time was your jam, Tony. I remember that.
And I love Ice King. He's such a great character. Watched an anime series called Bucket List of the Dead, which I actually really kind of dug, because they made the zombies really vibrant. They're not covered in blood; they're covered in color. And the whole premise is this guy's just a wage slave. He's working his ass off for a company that doesn't give a crap about him. And then when the zombie pandemic breaks out, he's like, "Oh, cool! Finally, I'm going to do my bucket list." He's so happy that it's the end times, and he's just like, "Cool, this is the best. I'm so happy."
Lee,
And
I
I was
feel like this is a show about what would happen to you.
yeah.
Zombie
I'd be like,
apocalypse.
oh, wait, I can do whatever I want. All I have to do is survive these assholes. Yeah, I'm there. I'm totally there. Ahsoka, oh my gosh. Rebecca, I'm so glad we had the conversation we had at FanX about this realization that you had that Star Wars is, this Star Wars isn't clicking with you because it's fantasy and that you've always had a hard time with fantasy. And I'm like,
I
oh
just
my
don't
gosh,
like
that makes so much
fantasy.
sense. But oh man, I am really enjoying this. They're doing some delicious things with Thrawn, and those Night Sisters couldn't be creepier. So thank you, Star Wars people.
And I will say that in this episode, finally, Rosario Dawson is doing something besides folding her arms sternly. I mean,
thank God.
She finished her training.
yeah.
She's found her joy again. Like, she can be alive and vibrant. I feel like Ahsoka
yeah.
lost that when the entire 501st tried to kill her.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
right.
So
I saw
the
my least favorite droid made a comeback.
The teenage
C-3PO?
One, yeah, second in line behind Luke
That's-
Skywalker for the
that's
whiny
how-
bitch award.
That's how you handle involving a character that you can't involve on the show.
I love 3PO.
You send the envoy. The Turtles animated movie that just came out is phenomenal, and it is a love
Cronenberg
letter.
for kids.
It is a love letter to weird Teenage Mutant Ninja
Yes.
Turtles. I love that it was Paul Rudd that played Mondo Gecko.
Yes.
Okay, Mondo Gecko is one of those throwaway characters that, Seth Rogen and his buddies were like, Mondo Gecko's the coolest. Let's put Mondo Gecko in a movie when we're grown-ups. The fact that Bebop and Rocksteady were there but didn't have to be back. I loved this movie. I loved it. I've watched it twice. But what...
Jay and I were talking about this during the con, about how much we enjoyed this movie. Yeah.
Yeah, it's so good. It's just a love letter to Turtles, and it's fantastic. And I thought they handled April better than April's ever been handled. And it was just like, thank you for this just deliriously fun little movie.
And
Now-
and they were talking about it at the comic book store when I went on Wednesday.
Yeah.
They were talking about how everybody loves this movie, and it's just like,
So good.
I don't know nothing about no Ninja Turtles, and I love this movie. I've seen it 3 times now.
You
Yes.
don't need to know anything about them because now you do, right? And it's
Yeah,
actually more faithful than it's ever been, and it's still going to do the
I'm gonna
Daredevil
watch this. I haven't
introduction.
seen it yet.
It's amazing, Tony.
Oh, you haven't
Now-
seen it? Well, because the thing that they do too is they got the
It's
kids
so
in the
good.
room. All the kids are in the room acting against each other, and they had permission to improv so much. Like
nice.
And-
Seth
and-
Rogen, he has taken a lot of what he has learned in his time in the film industry and applied it to these projects and made
Yep.
them better. And so,
It's
like,
phenomenal.
being in the same room and acting together, as far as like the animation goes, they intentionally drew everything like they would draw the Ninja Turtles like when they were kids, right? So like the Ninja Turtles, like it looks like stuff that you would draw on your notebook when you were a kid.
it was a
It's-
very unique style. Yeah.
And
It's
the
so
flashback-
good.
The flashback to Splinter taking the kids out when they were
Oh,
babies,
yeah.
and I was
Oh.
like, and
Little
so
Donnie
much
with his
Yeah.
glasses,
the-
I die
the
for
soundtrack.
him.
Like, I'm sorry if you put De La Soul in your soundtrack, I'm there anyway.
Trent
so,
Reznor and Atticus Ross, like,
yeah.
Yeah.
come on.
Well, they weren't in De La Soul.
Well, I know, but like, come on.
They
Okay,
should have been.
So I'm going to make this as quick as I can with the last thing because it blew my freaking mind. A year ago, the Cowboy Bebop live action show came out, and I was so, like, a lot of the animation fans were kind of let down by the show because they just said, we're going to do the episodes of the show that already happened. I'm like, do new adventures, please. You've got a great cast. You've got a great style. You've got a fantastic soundtrack. Just do new stuff. And they're like, no, we're going to do old stuff. But the One Piece live action series on Netflix, the reason why it works, I'm going to show a quick picture of the reason why I think the show works as opposed to some of the other animation adaptations. They understand it. This is a telephone in the One Piece animation. This is the telephone in
That's
the
a
One Piece
slug.
live action. It's a snail, and you talk into it. And
You talking to its butt?
yeah, and like that admiral I just showed, he in the animation, like he's wearing
Okay.
this puppy dog. He's wearing this puppy dog hat. It's a bulldog hat, so the bulldog's fangs are the top of his. And it's not like it's a real bulldog. It's a soft sculpture bulldog hat. It's the stupidest looking thing in the world in the animation. And then you get to the live action when they introduce the guy. He's wearing the stupid puppy hat. You've got characters that are not afraid to scream out their finishing moves when they're in battle, which is essential for an anime fight. And they all approach it like it's Macbeth.
Yeah. Again, and again, this was all that I heard people talking about it at the con when we were there. People were going, have you seen this? Have you seen this?
I've only watched maybe 20 episodes of the animation, and it's great. I have a good time with it. But what they did with this is just like, oh my God, the shark pirates, the black cat pirates, like the pirate gangs are the most ridiculous thing in the world. And everybody in it's just, no one's winking at the camera. Everybody's just like, I'm in love with it. I hope they do the 12 seasons that they think they're going to get. And
Well,
12?
season 2 has been approved, so.
well, if you're adapting 1,000 episodes of an anime series, you need a few
12.
That's
seasons.
true. That's fair.
All right.
12.
Yeah.
12.
I don't think it'll be 12.
It'll be 3 because it's Netflix.
For me, Lower Decks, Ahsoka, also Ninja Turtles, all great,
Betazoids.
all terrific. The two, the one thing that I saw this week, which was just, once again, I had chills because I didn't get a chance to see this in theaters when it was released in, 82, 83. Talking Heads Stop Making Sense.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't get a chance to see it in theaters. I only got to
sneak
see
out?
it on the Vidya, and it's one of my favorite bands, top 5 easily. And
It's a
so
Jonathan Demme movie, right?
Jonathan Demme directed, and it's just one of their concerts. And I got to see the last showing here in town on IMAX.
Wow.
And I wasn't prepared, first of all, for that wonderful IMAX sound of my favorite band just coming right at me, and that was
How
terrific.
big were the suits on IMAX?
The suit was really big, yes. And that was wonderful, and to see this band, at the top of their game.
Which band, for those of us who...
Talking Heads.
Talking Heads.
Sorry, Talking Heads. I got to see it. So that was in IMAX, was my experience. It's still in theaters, regular theaters. Maybe if you get a good theater with a good sound system, I would go. Otherwise, I would say wait and buy it when it's available very soon. I'm not sure when. And own it and turn up your sound system at home with a nice big screen. It was just such a great experience. I had chills. I haven't felt that way in a long time. So there's that. And also on HBO, Jose Andreas
like that
and
that makes
family
you
go to
happy,
Spain. Yeah. Jose Andreas and family go to Spain. It's a 6-part, following Jose Andreas and his daughters through Spain. And I want to go to there and eat all the things.
We need to go in late August. A friend of mine failed his LDS mission to Spain because after he'd been there for a while and the harvest season hit and then the cider festival started picking up.
Oh, yeah.
He all of a sudden realized that hard cider is better than church.
And they go to one of those hard cider festivals with this big party and the fireworks and everything. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
But Barcelona is where I want to go. Barcelona. All right. Games, Tony, and then we'll go to our private show.
Games.
Do you have any?
Baldur's Gate 3. That's all that matters.
Is that
What
all
about
people are playing?
Spider-Man
It.
2? When does Spider-Man 2 come out?
Okay, that one will matter as well. Let me look real quick.
Because I
for
hear it
that
has
one.
fall damage, and if that's the case, I am screwed.
No,
Me too.
it's option. It's option. You can turn
Oh,
it
good.
off or turn it on. Yeah. So, let's see. Nope, it's not this week. This week,
Okay.
all there is Disgaea 7. If you're into the JRPGs, you got Disgaea 7. But Spider-Man is, I think, 2 weeks later. Anyway,
I finally got out of the goblin hideout, Tony.
Lee, nice.
Yeah. I
There
realized
you
I was never
go.
going to get through it, so I just left.
That's what I told you to do. Yeah, good job.
Yeah, it sounded like something you told me to do, so I thought I'd do it. Yep.
All right, then. Thank you very much. Thanks you all in the chat room for being here live. We appreciate you. Thank you so much. If you are a Patreon member, Come and join us. We're going to do our after party. Geekshowgotthiscovered.com. If you're not a Patreon member, you can jump in right now. And of
Baba
course,
booey, baba booey, baba booey.
or something.
Hey, real quick, to all the FanX, sorry, to all the FanX people that came out for the live show, just thank you so much for showing up. It was really nice to receive
That was
that
nice,
love
yes.
and energy. We had such a great time. I had that I needed that so bad, and it was so good to see everybody. So thank you to all the people that came out and supported us. It meant a lot to all of us.
Did your
Yes,
son
very
finally get
much.
that hug,
Yes,
Jay?
thank you.
Yeah.
Did he? All right.
Good.
Live long and prosper, y'all.
Bye.
Bye. We'll
Baba
see you
booey,
at the
baba
after
booey, baba
party.
booey. Poo poo pee pee poo poo pee.